Hey gang, how's everybody doing? A little bit of a sky's limit blast to start us all off. Where's the chat at? Who's in here? Oh, we got some people on there. Alfred, Placidon, AA, what's up? Colin, how are you? Chris, Antonio, Jay. Thanks for joining me. It's Sunday morning. For me, I'm sure it's probably still Saturday evening or maybe very early Sunday morning for a bunch of people tuning in. What's everyone up to? Chris has a question, which is awesome. Let me just... What pickups are those? Well, let's see if I can get them in. I don't know if you can read these. So this guitar, I guess I should probably say, so it's a Charles Chillier, and Charles makes his own pickups and calls them Blue Murder pickups, which is fine by me. You know, if somebody's going to name something a Blue Murder pickup, you know where they're coming from in the guitar universe, right? Even though that's Whitesnake, not Blue Murder, right? Plastodon updated the axe. Colin's got the 5150 warming up. Good man. Yeah, I haven't played with the Soldano models. Well, I have played with the X88, but they updated the SLO. So maybe let's do that. That's a cool place to start. Now, what am I using at the moment? Let me drag this in so that I can show you guys what's happening in the axe. I mean, if you're a regular watcher, you know this is pretty standard FAS Stealth Blue, so it's like their idealized 5150. It sounds pretty savage. Sounds pretty fun. Let's do this. Let's reset the amp block and we'll bring up the Solo 100 lead. This sounds pretty good. It's like fat at the stock settings, right? My default with the Soldano is normally to turn the master up. Smooths everything out. Oh yeah. And then maybe do a bit of this, just, it's pretty mid-range heavy, isn't it? There we go. Maybe a bit of a preamp boost. Yeah. Alright, that's pretty lush, right? There you go. There you go. Oh, that's still the 5150. Soldano. Oh yeah. fat. I like the way that sounds. I've got in the blocks library, like did my best to match the X88 IR. Oh yeah. That's nice. Does that have a boost? It does not. You put a boost on it, it's more good. Oh yeah, there we go. So yeah, I think my favorite Soldano models in there are actually the Solo 88s. They all sound pretty rad though. Yeah, sounds wicked, exactly. Exactly. Earl, thanks mate. Cool to find you on the live stream. Love your VP4 tutorials. How are you using your VP4? Very interested to know. We're getting a new board, but torn between the two. I mean, you can't go wrong with either, really, at the end of the day. There's obvious form factor and workflow trade-offs that you get with each of them. One thing that I really like about if you just put all the sounds aside, because I think they both sound great, you can assign the FM9 foot switches to do whatever you want. Whereas on the Quad Cortex, you've got like an effects layout and a scenes layout and like hybrid mode. I just don't understand why you can't, say, make the bottom left foot switch a tuner if you want it to, and then have the ability to select like scene 3 and then an overdrive and then a delay. You can do that on the FM9. Any foot switch can do basically whatever you want, and they've got tap and hold functions on there and a couple of other things. So I think if you were using it live, that to me is really important, being able to have that totally customizable foot switch layout. And you get 8 of them as well, which is pretty handy. So yeah, that's one thing I definitely appreciate about that part of the workflow. Guitar's nice, isn't it? Is there any reason a user wouldn't want to do a soft reset and use the presets? I mean, if you like the way they sound, I guess that's probably the one reason, right? You plug it in, you go, yep, it sounds good as it is, then you don't need to. The older, if it ain't broke, don't fix it thing, right? Since you get to really sample the top-tier analog core I over the last few years, which digital model do you think comes closer to the quality of an analog rack chorus? I think the Axe effects, but having said that, actually, there's probably a lot. What I like is the ability, less in the chorus block and more in the multi-tap delay block of the Axe effects, to really hone down into that kind of stuff, right? So you spend enough time with rack gear, you realize it's like, there's a bunch of rack choruses, but the real fun is when you have rack delays that can do modulation in short times, right? So what I like is that, if you're kicking around in here, like you've got a couple of different core algorithms in here, like a quad parallel delay, a quad series delay, quad tape delay, band delays, things like that. So yeah, you can kind of really hone in on the chorus aspects of this, and also you can add delay line modulation or just straight up chorus on there. So you get some... this, so I get the gain staging right. Yep. That kind of thing. You want some extra wobble hanging out in there. Where's the master chorus depth? 1210 model in there, which sounds great. Oh, I've got chorus on top of chorus. Of course I have. Yeah, there we go. That's a bit more like... That's the wrong block, Leon. What do we want? Yeah, we want this. Beautiful. And yeah, you've also got all the sort of master time modulation stuff in here. You know, make stuff super wobbly, you can do that. So yeah, that's, I mean, this is the one I'm the most experienced with, I guess that would be my way of putting it. Having said that, the Boss GT1000 chorus modes sound amazing. They've got some really, really great sounds, as you would expect from Boss. The Quad Cortex has a chorus engine in it, which I think is probably better at the Stompbox style chorus stuff, but it's still a really impressive algorithm in there. And the Helix has some really great multi-tap delay and chorus blocks in there. It's one thing that I think is like very well represented. So I think for you, Ryan, it's like the Axe is absolutely the way to go. Those multi-tap delays, and you can have multiple versions in parallel and really go hog wild with it. You know, they've got the UD stomp Holdsworth delays programmed in there already, which is very, very nice. So yeah, probably right up your alley. And I think if you understand chorus the way you do, you'd probably be able to pull some really great sounds. And I would totally try some blocks you make there. So you could do that. The VP4 lets you run 4 multi-tap delays. So you could have 16 voice chorus stuff, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, I think that would be right up your alley. Building a Tonex with VP4, dude, I bet you that sounds incredible. And that would be very compact as well. I have never demoed a JC120 or 40 on here. I really should, just for the stereo aspect, right? Speaking of gain staging between plugins and components, is there a certain way you like to gain stage, or is it context dependent? Pretty context dependent, I think. Plugins, I mean, if I'm using an AmpSim plugin, it'll be like slap it on and then, you know, do some bus processing. You know, if it can't be done between like FabFilter Pro Q4 and Saturn in post, then I probably won't do it. Nice 1985 birthday present wrapping paper background. Yes, exactly. Exactly. You understand, Lyle, and I hope you're well. Hey, Scott, what's up, man? We got 2 Scotts in here. A meeting of the Scots. Been watching Ted all day, getting ready to level the frets on my Kramer. Oh, yeah, dude. Awesome. That's going to be nice when that's done. Very, very nice. There's nothing better than when you get the frets leveled and polished up and you put a new set of strings on, your guitar is like better than brand new. Very, very new. That's awesome. Where am I? That's a cool sound. What is that? Is that the... Oh, it's a 1210. Yes. Cool, cool. With a ton of digital, but still older classic stuff. It's time for me to get something that does it all, though. Yeah. 20 years. That's the... I mean, that's one thing about getting stuff done, say, with stainless that I like the idea of. That you're like, oh, well, I won't need it refretted in 5 years if I play it a lot. But even the guitars that I have non-stainless on, I don't get refretted in 5 years. I just wear them to the bone. So, yeah, it normally ends up being a lot longer than that. Let's go back to... Where on earth were we? Yes, this is what I want. One thing I got... Oh, you can't see it here. I got one of the Saint Rock React IR 2s, the reactive load box and IR loader. It's awesome. And I pulled out the Boogie Mark IV and played around with it a lot. And that was kind of fun. Oh, we got a fuzzy tail. We got a pair of fuzzy tails coming in. Hey, what you doing? Nope, they're gone under the desk. Where's he gone? Okay, cool. Getting distracted by cats. What was I saying? Mark IV. So yeah, I never really liked the presence shift, the pull presence, whatever they call it on the amp, until I sort of understood how it worked, and now I really like it. So I was kind of rolling with... I'll just give you a quick example of how I've been setting the marks up in the Axe, and then I'll swap over to the present shift thing because I really like it. It has that upper sizzle, like it's got a bit more Marshall about it, I guess. Yeah, I think I finally understand why. It's with it off, it's a little more Striper. With it on, it's a little more Lamb of God, modern thrash. Took me a long time to figure that out with the present shift. So, yeah, maybe. Check the word. What are we talking about? It's only been refretted once. It's almost 40 years. I've got 6105 putting back then. There's plenty left and it's not been recrowned. Yeah, that's cool, man. That's awesome. And all the other... So what... Obviously, being a 40-year-old guitar, it's like an OG Kramer, right, Scott? Focus 3000. The body is older. Nice. Nice. Yes, I agree with the sizzle thing. I think that's often when you have audible aliasing where the aliasing ends up sometimes, and that like made it just sound crap, you know? But it's funny how stuff has gone all the way back where you dial in much smoother sounds to get rid of that, and then that doesn't cut on a recording and things like that. So yeah, Hip, what's up, dude? Good to see you in there. A really good example. I mean, it works well with, like, I'm in drop C at the moment, so it works well with the low. You know, that you get the sledgehammer hitting concrete, but you also get that thing happening, which is pretty cool. In contrast to just the 5150 sound, which I had before, which probably I've dialed in to sound exactly the same. That's different, right? That's got a different mid-range character. Kind of, I hate using the term warmer, but yeah, a bit warmer. Yeah, I think one thing with the head first stuff and listening to a lot of Jason's clips that he put up, I realized what I like about older Marshall so much, and it's the sizzle, right? And I think Jace really dials that in nicely. So it's no surprise it sounds really good in his amps. Like if you try to Cali or especially an Alta, the Alta's a really great amp. I mean, the Friedman's a really great amp as well, but I feel like the Friedman's definitely, especially the BE, right? They're tuned so that that's a lot smoother. A friend of mine had a BE and a 1970 JMP badge Marshall. You put them side by side and you hear the BE first and you're like, whoa, that's a great guitar sound. I love the way it sounds. And then you hear the Marshall and you're like, but that sounds like rock guitar. You know, they weren't that different, but the Marshall had the upper mid sizzle thing intact and it was just like perfection. You just wanted to keep playing it. Yeah, not that you couldn't get an amazing recorded sound out of either amp, right? So yeah, I think it's preference in a big way. I'm going to play a song. Let's do this one. Whew, that's fun. Man, that has my favorite pre-chorus I think that I've ever written in there, that section when it comes out of the solo and the drums are just playing straight in there. And that... Very, very good fun. Very, very good fun. I should probably come back to the chat. What tuning am I in? Drop C. You know, the old guitar magazines. Here are the tuning notes. Yeah, so... And it's so different playing drop C on a... I mean, there's the obvious differences on like a Gibson-style scale. Then like, you know, you get a baritone or something. I don't know. I really like the... If you hit a bit hard... The boom thing that happens on there. So, how does March of the SOD sound in that tuning? Ooh, good question. I don't know how to play that. That's the only thing. Reminds me of Rush, yeah. Big, obviously, on the Lifes and Kick at all times, but the wanted that sort of... Because, you know, between the wheels or something, right? Oh, 1 second. Break up some cats. You all good? What are you guys doing? I wonder who started that. Here we go. This is what everybody's been waiting for. It's the only reason anyone tunes in. You being an absolute menace. Hey, there we go. We got some cat floof happening here. Hey, does the whole world want to see your butthole? I don't know if they do. Come on. The all-important fuzz focus. There we go. This was an error, wasn't it? Ah, that's it. Yeah, there you go. Okay, cool. This one's going to get flagged for indecent behavior. That's right. Okay, cool. The headstock is very important. It's not where we tune or anything. Mandatory. Cat hair in high def from halfway around the world. Exactly. Jesse Feliciano has 7 cats. Man, trying to keep 2 from absolutely terrorizing the house is hard enough here. I can't imagine what 7 is like. To quote Homer, get that cat out of the way. Exactly. Do you like to double track over your solos like Randy Rhoads did? I love that sound, but what I like more is having like a single solo and going through and like adding little bits and pieces to it. So the solo in Rust, we did that for. See if I can remember what I did. So there's this whole... I'll just play this solo. I think the first half is just... I might have doubled that, and then there's a... That line goes... There's an octave under there, so... Which I did as a separate track. Then there's... I think there's a... Whoa. And then... That line, I think... Yeah, that. And then the diminished thing that I'm fairly certain has a like a whoa Tom Morello. Couldn't do it if I tried. So and then as man, what does it have? There it is. So it's got the harmony on there. So there's like a couple of, what is it? Octave down, octave up, octave down, third below, diatonic third below, diatonic third above for the harmony. So yeah, that was sort of the playing around with those ideas on there. I think that's the... Man. Yeah, that's in there. But they're quite low in the mix, so they're more of a little bit of spice on top of there rather than being a, you know, strict, like making it sound like a double or making it sound like a harmony on there. Oh man, that's too cute. We actually went to a cat show yesterday in Perth, which was one of those things, bought tickets to, and I was like, this is either going to be really, really small and really, really crap, or it will be like surprisingly fun. And it was surprisingly fun. So yeah, there was some very cool things happening there, and those would sound cool with a whammy pedal. Yeah. Good on you, Scott. Appreciate it, mate. Likewise, I hope you... How's your build going? Your most recent... Or is there another most recent one happening? Yeah, my favourite line in there is... Landing on the flat 5. Could have done that. That actually sounds pretty cool. Private. That hit the spot for me. It was like, oh, there was probably a mistake where we were like, yeah, that's got some stank about it. Let's just stick with that. I'm trying to find some photos of the cat show on my phone. I don't know how I'll drag them in though. There we go. Yes. Can I send this to myself? Who knows? Oh, this is like Scott Fest in here. There's too many Scotts to keep up with. Scott, Ethan Glenn bought a Geddy Lee Mini Moog. Oh, amazing. How is it? Have you got it yet? Yeah, that's just a beautiful thing. A beautiful thing. And yes, that solo, absolutely going for the Marty vibe on there, especially this kind of like... Just putting in some very, very stanky notes in there to make it pop. So, Team Scott, exactly. Cats are the Pharaoh's favorite for a reason, exactly. They've cracked the source code. Sixth Audio, how you liking the VP4? I've been playing mine for a couple of months in 4 cable method. And found taking the input pad down a slight bit, enhancing the overall feel. That's cool. I haven't used it a whole lot 4 cable, mostly just post. So using it like after a load box and IR or something like that, I really, really like. Have you soundproofed this new room as well? No, haven't done that. That's why you can definitely hear there's some unpleasant artifacts in here, especially some the speakers aren't on. But yeah, need to sort out the low end, as any room that's untreated. So yeah, that's kind of got to be maybe the next couple of months I'll do that. So yeah, do I know any loudness riffs? I mean, I really should be doing this, right? This is the correct way to use this microphone. And now you can hear me a lot clearer. So yeah, SM7B, the it's weird how this just became the internet's microphone of choice, right? Genty Winter Group. That's great. I imagine by Watson, somebody meant Jeff Watson, right? So, afternoon, gentlemen. What's up, Ledge? How are you, Brad? What's been keeping you busy, mate? Yeah, TJ Helmer. Yeah, exactly. After chatting to Garced, I was like, man, I've got to go back and listen to some of that stuff. And TJ's pretty sick. This is a Shure SM7B. The Shure SM7B, exactly. Oh, a bunch of people picked up on that one, didn't they? So, here's a lick you can all enjoy and learn for yourselves. When I thought I invented multi-finger tapping, when I was like maybe 14, my dad was like, you know, you can do this. And I was like, oh man, what if you did like... And then, I don't know where this lick came from, but what you do is you kind of bar, say like the 5th fret. So you're going to do your minor third hammer-on thing from 5 to 8. But you also get the 5th fret on the B. And then you have like you set up a 5th with these two fingers. So it'll be fret 10 on the B, fret 12. That kind of thing. And I think the way this works is you do a... So that's happening on the B string. And then you do... That's happening on the E string. But you go... And then you move... And then you do this. This is really important. Anyway, two-handed stuff is cool, right? It's really, really cool. Even the straightforward stuff, the eruption style stuff or crazy train stuff is just like so satisfying. I always just forget about how much I enjoy that. Where are we in the chat? Brad, knocking out some FIM 2000 PCBs is other than going to see Chase the Sun. Cool. In Penrith. Or Penrith, as they like to say around there. That's cool, man. Yeah, man, that Leagues Club there. Well, Leagues Clubs in general blow my mind, being from Perth, because you just don't have that scale of football club thing. But yeah, particularly the Penrith one. I remember driving past it a couple of years ago and being like, what's that giant complex? And they were like, man, it's Penrith. That's what's going on. Anyone using a dedicated dry amp cab and a stereo power amp? Oof. That's, I think eventually I want to get that set up here. Again. Help a third hand. Yes. They're just coming out of nowhere to do the thing. A fun thing you can do as well is like partial capo. So if your capo will do the thing, what would make sense here? Let's do the top 3 strings. Oh, if that will stay on there. Kind of. Might have to sacrifice that. Depends on your neck Depends on your neck profile, right? So if I did, maybe it'll work better here. No, it works on flatter necks. This has a slightly rounder thing going on. So, but yeah, you could have like the top 2 strings at the 5th fret capoed, right? And then you've got the lower strings, so you can use open strings in a bunch of different places. Maybe it would work better. Let's see. Can I do this? Or this? Oh, yeah, that stays on. But also not quite gripping properly. Let's do that. God, that sounds bad. All right, partial capo kind of sucks on this guitar. Sorry, everyone. There was a lick on the last stream we were working on, and it's just stuck in my brain now. Like a Gilbert thing. Chris Holmes, man, that's a name you don't see much anymore. Yeah, I Want to Be Somebody. Yes, that's the obvious one. Man, they were a cool band. I remember reading about Wasp before I'd ever heard them, being like 14, and oh man, these guys look awesome. They're like, you know, Kiss, but they look meaner. And then actually hearing them, I was like, they are Kiss, but slightly meaner with slightly cooler stuff. So Steve Vai did that too with the 3-neck guitar. I had to get an extra hand for the big eventide strings effect that was happening. EAD9, crazy stuff. Yeah, dude, I remember getting that G3 DVD and he walks out with it and you're just like, oh God. Oh God. Brad. See, this is cool. Like, this is diving into stuff we like. Yeah, Baroness are very, very cool. The first couple of albums in particular. I haven't seen any live stuff recently, but I did see John solo acoustic live to about 30 people in Perth once. And that was cool. Like, he did a bunch of the first 2 albums acoustic and just like hung out and told story. You know, it was like the most low-key performance ever. And yeah, that was amazing. That was actually amazing. He was just like a little bit shy at the start and he kind of came out of his shell and yeah, really, really cool. Really, really cool. Yeah, man. And he just like, you know, there wasn't a lot of people there, but he like took the time to just chat to everybody afterwards. And people bought albums and shirts and stuff like that for him to sign. So you could see he was kind of like, I don't know, maybe less like that now. They've been such an established act for a long time. It was pre-bus accident and stuff like that as well. But yeah, you could see he was sort of like, whoa, I'm on the other side of the world and people really like this stuff. I'm kind of blown away by this. Yes, exactly. They're one of those bands where I get why people would not be into them, but I feel like anytime you show them to somebody, they're like, well, even if it's not my thing, like I appreciate that these guys are just so 1,000% in, as you said. John McLaughlin, dude. All right, I need a different guitar. Oh yeah, let's do that. What is not in a drop tuning here? This probably is. But yeah, man, not the first time I heard shred guitar, but definitely the first time I heard that style of playing. I bought the Inner Mounting Flame from bloody JB Hi-Fi for $10. That was a good purchase. Let's see. Yeah, that sounds like John McLaughlin, doesn't it? Let's take something a little more low-key. And I need that kind of phaser sound he's got on Birds. Something like this. So my first exposure to it was... How does that go? The thing that got me was like he's got like the worst vibrato for a player of his stature. He almost doesn't have a vibrato, and that kind of makes it good. I remember the first time I heard it, I was like, he's just like. But then hearing his Shakti stuff where he's playing acoustic guitar, you're like, oh, no, hang on, that works. So yeah, I don't know. I remember that was a thing. That was my. It's like this guy's incredible, but like, what's with the bending? It sounds weird, and then you're great, but you have the worst vibrato. It's yeah. I mean, what a thing to say about an absolute icon of the guitar, right? But that was me being 16, just being like, oh, this is great, but like, that's weird that he's not shaking the note. And I'm sure on John's part, that was an intentional thing. You know, he seems like a very, like, intentional human being on all levels. But yeah, I think listening to like Dimiola, where he's got the modern guitar package, right, with the vibrato and the tone and stuff, and then the McLaughlin thing was always like, well, this is cool. But then hearing the Shakti stuff on acoustic guitar, I was like, well, maybe you're just someone who plays acoustic heaps and his vibrato is really appropriate there. So, I don't know. Who cares what some Australian idiot thinks about John McLaughlin, right? Because he's very, very, very good at what he does. I don't think I ever heard Alan Holdsworth vibrato either. I mean, Holdsworth did all the bar stuff, which kind of made up for it as well, where you're just like, you know, the dips in... I'm sure all of these guys probably heard, you know, all the rock players going... I just went, let's not do that. Let's do something a little more like, you know... Yeah, I think Dimiola's my dude from that whole 70s thing. And he still looks like 22 years old, which is super strange. Like, he's nearly 70 and, yeah, looks younger than me. So, I don't know, maybe Al's a vampire and he's figured it out. Anyway, that's not the question we came here to answer. It was, can I play Birds of Fire? And, let's see... Yeah, there's a that's like I literally probably haven't played that for 10 years, but it's what is that, like 5 1 2 3 4 5 times, and then 1 2 3, so it's 9/8. Yeah, the Lifetime stuff is pretty interesting, actually. It's because Mahavishnu was like my in with McLaughlin. Actually, no, I'd heard him on the Friday Night in San Francisco album, and I knew Al Di Meola, and I was like, well, obviously I need to check out John. So, but yeah, his electric playing, it was the Mahavishnu stuff, and there's some amazing tunes on there. Guardian Angel is just beautiful. Hello, you're a little bit of a guardian angel, aren't you? With your fuzzy butt, which goes like... and obviously... Yeah, if you haven't heard Friday Night in San Francisco, I think it is my favorite guitar instrumental thing ever. Like Passion and Warfare, Perpetual Burn, Friday Night in San Francisco. I could listen to that for the rest of my life. It is incredible. And Paco in particular. Yeah, I mean... Who said that in the chat? If you ever went electric, it would have all been over. Yeah, phenomenal. Hey, what's going on? You're being a menace. You can be a menace in here, all right? So yeah, that album has so much just incredible stuff. And yeah, Al's on fire on it. Paco's on fire on it. John's great, doing his John thing. So yeah, very good. Like that sequence is getting absolutely hammered. The thing that I like about it is like just their flow, like you hear, and trying to get that habit, like that is crap. So more trying to keep stuff in time and like mark out the changes while you're playing that, I think is yeah, it's ever sick. A little bit of Adrian Legg, yeah, and a lot of Larry Coryell, I can never say his name properly. There's a video of, I forget if it's Al and Larry or if it's John and Larry. They're like in Spain somewhere just playing acoustic guitars. That's so good. So good. And you know, doing that kind of a really simple like. And yeah, Larry's great. It's like, if you look at guitar player magazines from the late 70s, all those guys are always on the cover and always writing articles. So yeah, they were the dudes. And yeah, exactly. You know, if you like Matteo Mancuso, he's great. But also, Paco de Lucia, he's the man. He's the icon. So good. And doing it in the context of flamenco music, like not doing it just to be, You know. Yeah, it really like yeah. Don't get me started with that stuff, man. He's like the guy, right? It's the King's X phenomenon, right? Like you look at Ty Tabor and you look at King's X and you look at all the stuff they did, and so many bands went, we'll take that and run with it, and then they blew up. So you ask, bands from the 90s, who's your favorite band? And they're like, oh man, King's X. And you ask all the great fusion players, and like, who's your favorite player? And they're like, Coriel, dude. Like, he's the guy. He kind of invented, as you said, he basically invented it. So yeah, I don't know with that kind of stuff. I feel like that Friday night in San Francisco thing, it's just such a good... I like to listen to it just to tune myself up. Like, not even try to play it. Just, if I kind of want to remember what really in-time groovy guitar playing sounds like at an incredible high level, I'll just listen to that. So, or if that was the same list that excluded Alan Holdsworth, yeah. I mean, what did the guy do? He just became everyone's favorite player. And I just want to say, love your channel. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Very, very much appreciate it. I like that we're talking about fusion, because I've listened to a lot of fusion, and I can't play fusion, so that really validates me. How does that, Flight Over Rio, that's my jam. Just that, it's like Shred Santana, right? That's the first Owl thing I heard, and I was like, I'm hooked. I love this guy. He's amazing. He's got the massive tone, and he's got the devastating picking chops and the cool grooves and everything else. Maybe that's why he looks eternally youthful. So much cool stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's a cool thing, right? Having a rock ensemble, but you use like a jazz format where you're like, here's the head, everybody go nuts, come back and play the head, and then we'll, I don't know, add congas and mini moogs and stuff to it. Very, very cool. And then there's all that Japanese stuff from like the early 80s as well, taking it and like really leaning into the melodic element of it. And obviously they were around all the tech that was coming out as well. So yeah, pretty cool. I would be remiss if I did not mention Pat Metheny. He's from KC, my old stomping ground. Yeah, that's the side of fusion that I can respect and I never want to listen to, because it just that's what elevator music, when people say, oh, it sounds like elevator music, like that's what they mean, like that very, like very major key boppy, like da 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 da, with like very of the time clean sounds, and that's a massive diss. And I know a lot of people love Metheny and Mike Stern and stuff like that, but I like the aesthetics of rock music in fusion. This is just me personally. So like, I'd much rather listen to like Al Di Meola, or I'd much rather listen to, I mean, I like listening to Holdsworth's playing, but a lot of the time, a lot of it's like, I can do 30 minutes of this and then I'm out. But yeah, Metheny, like I like his world music-y stuff. I think the stuff that everyone's like, it's so awesome. I've probably just heard too many like conservatory ensembles butcher it. So yeah, the stuff that's more like him really branching out and maybe doing less of the melodic thing. But I don't know. Would Pat Martino be too jazz? See, I can vibe with that stuff, like the solo guitar thing as well. Jim Hall and Wes, and it's stuff I like to listen to. I don't think I am at the point where I want to really dive into playing it, but it's pretty awesome. Who's the other guy? Joe Pass, all that kind of stuff. Julian Lage, obviously, is sort of like the modern equivalent of that. It's just incredible. So, yeah. The Chick Corea stuff, the early stuff, I think I can get down with. Some of it I'm just like, whoa, this is like the Game Boy soundtrack. So, saying this, there's so much rock music from the same time that I'm also like, oh. I like, for the very, I mean, this is coming from someone who loves like King Crimson Discipline, which is one of the most like sterile sounding albums ever, you know, so much like Steve Reich style, you know, where they're just kind of saying that. All that kind of stuff. Yeah, I love that album. It's amazing. The first time I heard it, I think just the tone of it, I was like, oh, this isn't what I expected. But yeah, it's just addictive to listen to. Really, really addictive to listen to. The cool thing about this is it's such a broad spectrum when you say fusion, because it means one thing to another. Like, two people will have a totally different take on like what it is. I just find it funny when people are like, super like, no, this is great, but this is absolutely terrible because A, B, C, D, and you're like, man, they sound exactly the same. Jan Hammer is the best guitarist who plays keyboards ever. Exactly. Super important, right? Like all that Jan. All his, I mean, you know, that's where Jeff Beck got the Jeff Beckisms from. One of my favorite pastimes is just like putting a looper on with a very, very clean sound like this, right? So where are we at? And you take like, you do the Steve Reich thing, right? Or the King Crimson Discipline thing. We take like, I don't know, a 4 or 5 note sequence. So you go like, and then you play like a 3 again. See where the early beginnings of Gent, they really lay in that frippery, aren't they? Cassiopeia is a super, yeah, they're great. They're awesome. This is where the pitch bends originated, mimicking the Minimoog. Yeah, you're too kind, Scott. I've spent a lot of time listening to that stuff. Someone say the CAD thing. Oh, Scott, this is why we're mates. Yeah, the Gentle Giant, man, we're in there now. We're in the what is prog and what is fusion. They're the same. What's the craziest fusion chord you can play? I really like all the like quartal stuff. Like there was, what was you either stacking really close intervals or... There we go. This needs to sound more Holdsworth. Give me 1 second. I need this in my life. This sound. Yeah, it's funny, like, a really good trick is you just fix one note in a chord. So if you take like an E, well, this is cool because you can access it as the open E, but you'd have, let's see. Just finding E's. I think this is probably... Actually, this isn't that... This is a major 7th, right? And then trying to play it... No, that's not going to happen. I'm out of fingers. There's that... I really like the UK album with Holdsworth on it. There's a track on there called Nevermore. He's moving these, like, major 7th shapes around... That's a good fusion trick. You just play the Lydian mode up in 5th. So it'll be like F, C, G. Which is funny because then you get into like the Satriani and Vi stuff where they're stealing a lot of those tricks. They're just doing it in the context of like pretty straightforward 4/4 rock grooves. Man. Dave LaRue and Steve. Yeah. Very, very, very amazing. Yes. Yeah, exactly. Like he's I just love that he came up as a kid, was like, oh, here's a chord system. This makes sense. This is how, like, music is maths done. Between guitar and Eric Dolphy, yeah. Well, let's try play this. What are we doing there? Oh, man. That's a chord. Oh, there we go. That's my new favorite chord. There. That's an F major. That's a 6 and a 9? Yeah. How's that for some... That's also cool, the double up thing right there. I don't know. I really... here we go. I went to school in University of Florida, and Mawson LaRue did tons of free clinics. That's sick. Oh, dude. Very, very nice. Yeah, definitely got some nice stretchy hands on me. You ever heard Gentle Giant? Yes, I think that's what Scott was referencing in there. They're great. That would be a dream. Andy's a good dude, and I would just do that just to attend and not play guitar. Yeah, feel free to plant the seed. I 100% do that. I really like, I don't know, just, he gets it on a lot of levels, right? Is this the Ripley stereo thing? Because I've played around with that in like a VG8 where you can pan the strings, and I love the way that sounds. And the Boss SY1000 can do it. I think I did that on the demo I did with it too. Randy Price has been getting into the Norum. Hell yeah, man. Face the Truth is one of my favorite albums. I've stolen so many licks from that. He does this thing in, what is it, Let Me Love You, something like that. And then the solo, yeah, the Norum thing, like similar to the Sykes and the Doug Aldrich thing, where he'll like it's a mix of that Gilbert style. Like 3-note per string thing, but also like Hendrixy. So yeah, I think all the cool stuff I do, I just stole from one of those three players. Tyrant, yeah, man. Tipton leveled up. He kept up with the times, right? He really, really worked on his playing, which I massively, massively appreciate. People are just suggesting cool stuff that I kind of know as well. So, Albert, plugged in the IntelliFX lately. I haven't. Chained mine up a few weeks ago with the IntelliVerb on the 8 voice setting. So good. Yeah, I've got it. We moved at the end of last year, so I've got a lot of that stuff like boxed up, basically. Need to pull it out and do some videos with it. Slowly getting there. Are you into The Haunted? Did you get a chance to hear the latest? Ola and Jensen came up with some mad Swedish death metal. Yeah. They're really, really good. Really, really good. I think it's funny where like people forget Ola's a great guitar player. And he's been able to also become very, very good at YouTube in the guitar space. So, yeah, he's it's pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, man. Oh, man, like Racer X is just Judas Priest with some Malmsteen and Al Di Meola licks thrown in, right? Yeah, man, if you've seen, like, Ola play Nevermore and Dream Theater, you know, like, the man is a beast. And he kind of, I don't know, like, obviously, like, he's demoing guitars, he's kind of keeping a lid on it and playing very within himself. But when you see him stretch out, you're like, dude, that's scary. Yeah, and he's just like, he's one of the good ones. One of the scariest players I think I've ever met in real life. probably one of the few people I've watched play guitar where I'm like, I definitely don't want to play guitar around this guy. He's just so good and can play it all. Like, you watch him do the shred thing, you watch him do the country thing, you watch him do like George Benson stuff, and he's just nailing it. It's pretty awesome. Ryan is adopting all the presets for the IntelliVerb. Yeah, dude. Give me the lowdown on like it's slightly more powerful or something like that, so you can run more delay lines or something. Have you ever seen Jacob DeRaps? Yeah, my friend Josh plays drums for him. So I've been well aware of Jacob for a long time. And Josh kind of like recorded and mixed all this stuff as well. So I think they've got a new album that should be out-ish now. They say it sounds average but not great, like it's not punchy at all, and it's dull and not bright. It sounds cheap. I reset my global settings and I have new strings and Duncans. I mean, there's so many places with that where, you know, it could be as simple as like the way you're setting the amp or a bad cable or your playback system and stuff like that. So I think the best thing to do is like go on YouTube and find some isolated sounds that you like, you know, where it's just like, cool, this is Judas Priest, Painkiller, isolated guitar, and try to get close to that vibe and see if you can do that. So having those references is always nice. Cool. Oh, the DeRaps album is out. Yeah, he's really, really good. He's like maybe the closest I've heard to doing like the Eddie thing, and he's singing and playing as well. So yeah, he's a monster. That's very cool. I'm happy for both of those guys. Pete getting the Satch Vi gig and Andy doing Pete's thing. That's fantastic. I'm sure either of them would be great on either gig, right? So Pete Black solo on Sleepless Nights. Yeah, we're talking about King Diamond now. Excellent. Yeah, I did a couple of, 2015 now, so 10 years ago, some friends of mine did a King Diamond night here. So did a couple of Merciful Fate tunes, and then it was stuff from Abigail, Them, and Fatal Portrait, which was cool. That was a hard gig. There was a lot of stuff in there that was difficult. Just even a lot of the, you know, because so much stuff which is like... where it's just like so many key changes, so many timing changes. So Talisman, yeah, man, Jeff Scott Soto and Fred, so good. Yeah, exactly. It'll destroy, absolutely destroy. All right, I'm gonna bounce, everyone. Thanks for hanging. This was really, really good. Do another one hopefully in the next week, 2 weeks or something like that. I've got a gig this week for the Socceroos, so that will be interesting. I need to put some work in, playing for like 5 minutes in the pre-show, and of course doing some AC/DC, so gotta get this one going so I can do all that. And a couple of other things. So, yeah, that'll be fun. Once that's all done and dusted, I'll hopefully put up some footage and things like that. It should be very, very interesting. Anyway, peace, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it.